It was a good day. Had a good day. Had a good meeting with the boss and the Nexus ecosystem team on the new affiliate program we're building.
Excellent.
And that went really, really well. So yeah, doing great. Showed Peter and the staff all the new stuff in Digi, and they went ballistic. So very, very excited. So yeah, we're going to do some cool things in Digi. I'll announce this weekend. Kind of a cool test. So
Awesome. You know, for those of you who are new or are watching this in the replay and you're new, if you don't know about Digibot is our other trading platform that has been trading for 3-4 years in the
there he is.
He's what we do with Digi is he accumulates Bitcoin for us and does it in such a phenomenal way, all automatic behind the scenes. Sleep, eat, play, whatever you're going to do, he's going to trade for you in the background. So we're really excited and proud of Digi and what he's got going on. The other thing that Doug mentioned was the Nexus ecosystem. And I want to make sure everybody is aware that nSights is one piece of a grand puzzle of lots of tokens and lots of utilities that are being built, released. And we have a beautiful community, the Nexus ecosystem community. It all started with a token called True Badger. And if you want more information about that, go head on over to our Telegram channel and get involved with our community. Last thing I want to say before turning it over to Doug is we're getting some great traction on our YouTube channel. So I encourage everybody to please pop on over there, subscribe to the channel, and engage on a few of the videos that are there. We'd really appreciate that. We're trying to build that channel up to 1,000 people because when we do, we can take calls like this live every single time. We can't do that over on the Nexus ecosystem channel because it's used for lots of different things. And so here we are. You get to watch the replays if you miss these. So help us build the channel so that we can go live for you. All right, Doug, it's all you.
It's all me, huh? Well, thank you, Deb. Well, guys, on the updates on NSI for tonight, the biggest update is that a boss and the programmers were out of power for 8 hours today. So nothing new got really done, although we did have some meetings and we began, I think we're going to really, and I've talked about this, we're really going to push towards the using PancakeSwap's mid-wallet, really get the limit orders going so that we can place limit orders when we trade live together, because there's certain places I'd like to be placing limit orders on a number of tokens right now. So I'm going to push very hard for that, see if we can get that up and running within the next week or two max, and then we can start doing limit orders. Once we have the limit orders going, that the next step, that is the thing that we need to do before we get the grids going, and we'll get the grids going after we get those limit orders going. So I think that's the biggest news, our biggest direction of where we're heading. Now, the token that we traded this weekend, I want to look at it real quick.
So we're partway there. I'm going to have some really good information probably on Saturday as well, because that big $1 million trader, he's hidden behind that function ID.
Yeah.
But I see him. I found him.
You found him, right?
Yeah, I found him. And many others. And many others. So now I'm trying to decide what is the relationship with all of these users and this token. What's the relationship and why, right? We don't hide our stuff. And I know it's a fairly significant token. I mean, it's got a huge 2.5 year long utility, right? They've got big stuff going on.
Yeah. So why hide?
Why hide?
Yeah, and these are the things that we need to dig into as we launch or as we trade tokens. We really need to know, is there alternative motives? Not saying there was with this one, but is there things that we need to be watching? The other thing that we really need to dig into, and I'll probably teach on this a little bit on Saturday, so Deb will take part of Saturday and I will take part of Saturday, is really, when we get into tokens that are doing millions and millions of dollars in market caps, but don't have the liquidity, how does that work for the traders? What are their expectations? What's going on there in terms of, how they are perceiving their own tokens. So, and what will cause those tokens to potentially crash. I really want to go through that because I think a lot of people can get into tokens and they go, oh, wow, I've got a $3 million wallet, right? Well, you got a $3 million wallet when there's only $400,000 in liquidity. And the way that this is, well, I'm going to go through it on Saturday. But yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons there for us to understand as we try to trade different tokens in the future here. So I want to look at our coin one more time. I want to kind of keep track of this during the week. So I want to make sure that we're kind of keeping track of where we are. So we talked about, where we're down to the 28. Yeah, let's try to keep track of each night, that night, and each night moving forward here.
Okay.
So we can kind of get a feel for what this market's going to do, Deb. Okay.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to look at is the volume here, guys. I'm going to scroll down, see if I can really see what's going on here. We're on a 5 minute. I'm going to go back to a 1 hour because I want to read 1 hour volume. We have a high buy volume here, but it has rejection in it. Then we come in with high sell volume. I don't think the down is done yet, or at least it's not ready to really turn and go up. So here's what I'm reading, okay? I'm reading, when I come here, I'm reading down volume, up volume, but this is called a spinner. There's no body, so it's wicks on both sides. So this is when you think about buyers and sellers, right? Let me take a screenshot of this. Now it moved, right? I'm focused on this candle right here, okay? Looks like a cross, right? This one's kind of like a cross with a little body. This one has no body at all. It means it opened and closed on the same price, went down and went up. This is really a classic example of a real battle between buyers and sellers. Nobody can take control. There's no body, no 1 hour body to this candle versus this one here, which has a big down body. It opened here, closed here, but went here and back up. This is a sign that the buyers here are coming in and trying to push the market back up, right? So let's look at what kind of happens here. The next candles kind of try to go, they're going back up. Now we get the reverse of that here. To me, these are struggles between buying and selling with no clear definition yet. The volume isn't clear on if this wick had been to the downside and I had buy volume like this, really would be a significant candle in terms of pushing up. Because the wicks on the top side, the sellers came in, drove it back down. That's what caused it to be a high volume candle. Anytime you see a struggle and the struggle's on the wrong side and it's high volume, it's really not a clear indication of what it wants to do. This is becoming a little bit more clear. We got high volume down without a real struggle, which means to me that, we're going to test probably back down somewhat. We'll watch that and we'll see what that does, but this isn't over with yet. And we talked about that last night, I still wasn't sure, if they're not going to test lower where where the market should have launched at. I don't think it'll ever get that low. Well, I can't say that. I think it very well get that low. I don't know if it's ready to do that right now. I don't see those kind of signals. Okay. So last night when we were looking at the market, we were at 31.31. Okay. We talked about it still having some down pressure. We're at 31.31. And tonight we went down as low as 26, right? So we're getting down into these barriers. Let's go down to a 15-minute candle here. Go back over. Want to really look at where the bodies are on this area here. I got a majority of the bodies on the 15-minute, which means, and I'll explain this, when I'm looking at the actual bodies where they all kind of converse here, 1, 2, 3 at the same level, that means the market went down, came back up to this level, went up or went down, came back up and then went up, started at this level, ended at this level, went slightly below. So now if I look at that, and I'm going to look at the low bodies, the low body here, this is kind of the range that I would be looking at the market trying to balance and hold in. If we break this low here, then we're going to set a new low. We hold this and still waiting for us to get above a prior high. Remember, we were at 31 last night. 31 was all the way up here. We talked about it being going lower, okay? And that's what it did, okay? So I wanted to see us get above a prior high. So if this is going to turn around, and if we're trying to accumulate, if you're accumulating in these areas because you have a trade up higher, I would wait to see some buy volume come in or accumulate lightly. I wouldn't accumulate heavily. Again, I'm not giving trade advice, just kind of trying to educate you that I would want to see the buy volume and the sell volume agree with a turnaround. I don't see that yet, okay? But when it does, we need to start taking out some of these highs. I'm going to change the color of this line here. And this is not, for me, this isn't a predominant high in that it isn't part of the initial push up, okay? We can look at this high does correspond here, came up a little bit, but I really want to begin to see us take out some of these points here, especially like this one here. This one, this whole area corresponds to a push up. If I can start getting above, again, above this area, which we now finally got below, we weren't below it yesterday. This is the first barrier that we broke coming up. That would be a significant close above this area. The next area that I would be looking at to really get a significant understanding that the market wants to push is to close above this area here. And I would actually move this down just a little bit because this is the close that closed below here and then push back to this right here. We closed down, pushed back to it, couldn't go any higher, and we then broke down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because that may be small for some of you guys to see. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit. Here's what I'm talking about. These were wicks. We closed below them. We closed down. We kind of bounced off this area. But when we came back up, we couldn't break back above this area. We couldn't close back up. This became a very significant little barrier. Take this barrier out, then I think we're going to retest probably up in here. So this would be, there is another barrier here. I don't see that as significant as trying to get above this one. Definitely would probably hesitate on this. People are going to look at this. I'll put a different color line here. I wish I could save these, but we'll take a screenshot. Okay, kind of look at that as a kind of a intermediate barrier, but really this is the main barrier. We get back to that for reestablishing up pressure to get back up into this range, right up into the 40 area. This is the areas that we got to take out first. Then we got all kinds of barriers and challenges as we get up, and we'll look at those if the market gets turned around. it's, again, not signifying to me that it's ready to do that yet. So still kind of waiting on volume. So really what I want to see on the volume, I'd like to see some buy volume like this come in. This was really nice. This was actually a decent test, right? This buy volume came in and there's no wick to the upside and it's increasing buy volume over these sells. This is why we got this nice little push. But right now, I would want to see this, maybe a little bit more, have a nice base formed, a nice buy volume come in with no wick to the top side and begin to push towards these barriers and then see us break one of these barriers. Right now, I'm seeing more sell volume, little rejection, but not a lot, okay? So you need to see that buy volume come in. So if you're accumulating, it's up to you whether you want to accumulate in this area or not, because anything could happen in the next hour, right? But it's up to you. We're on a barrier. This is another accumulation area, and this would be another accumulation area. So there's where we are now and two others that I see as primary accumulation areas that might create opportunities for anybody that's still trading this token and maybe stuck a little bit in the token. So that's the way I look at it. Deb, let's take a screenshot of this. And then we have that for tomorrow to look at.
Excellent.
All right. So guys, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to try to get to the point. I'm just kind of, it's hard to wait. I want to really start pulling the trigger on some limit orders and start trading with you guys. So let's look at nSights real quick. The nSights, I think the market really is about, for some reason, this candle hasn't closed down. We're around 1308, I believe. I believe that we're starting to see, some up pressure. We're closed above this area, probably get a little retest. I think this is really kind of following this pullback on Bitcoin, and it's kind of following our BNB. I want to show you guys also, remember, these are the lines that I drew a long time ago. I didn't draw the low down here, so I'm not going to put one down here. I didn't put one down here. But when we broke, we made a new low. We came back up. Look what happened. Look at where we rode when we came back up. Look at the box that we had in play, right? We had another kind of intermediate box. We broke this, rode this one, came up to this one. Now we came up to our blue line. We drew these, what, 2 weeks ago? Week and a half ago?
Yeah, about a week and a half, I think.
And look at our intermediate lines that we drew. Look how it rode these lines. This is how, so when I'm laying out the barriers on the other coins, this is what I'm doing. I'm seeing where the market has struggled, where it's battled in the past. If it's battled there in the past, it's probably going to battle in the future. Okay. And then it did it again here, right on the line, came down, look, it came right to our line, came right back to this line, struggled, got above it, came to our box, back to this little line. You can see they hesitated on it. Okay. A couple hours there, right back to our line. Okay. So, very, very significant, right? I think this, proves, how significant these barriers are when we're laying them out, kind of learn how to see what I'm seeing and try to understand what I'm doing, ask questions about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so that you can learn, right? That's what this is all about. All right, that's all I got for tonight.